The photo of the room with the masks hanging all over the walls that were just released by the Oversight Committee. Oh my God. And before we even get into the masks, first of all, let me just say, some of these photos and videos that were just released are new. Some of them have been out for years. And some of the photos that have been publicly released in the past are being re-released now by the Oversight Committee, and there are certain things that are more redacted than they were when they were released publicly years ago. For example, this is the photo of the chalkboard that was released by the House Oversight Committee, and this is the exact same chalkboard, and it is unredacted. This photo was released in 2023, 2024, I believe. For some reason, the Oversight Committee thought that these things should be redacted, even though we already know what's behind the redaction. And unfortunately, the Oversight Committee did not redact where it counted in this drop of files. In the photos that the House Oversight Committee released, they released a photo of Jeffrey's kitchen, and in Jeffrey's kitchen, there is a huge framed photo of a fully undressed baby. There were no sensors placed over this baby's face or body whatsoever. And we've seen this photo before on multiple occasions. We remember this post that was posted way back in 2017, but we talked about it a few months ago, by a worker who was working on Jeffrey's Island. Him and his crew were there during the hurricane season while Jeffrey and his pals were not at the island doing maintenance on the island. They ended up getting stuck on the island due to weather and stayed at Jeffrey's properties for a couple of days and took photos and uploaded them onto Facebook. This was one of the photos that he posted back in 2017 in Jeffrey's kitchen. And as you can see, it is the exact same framed photo of this nude baby. And like I said, we've talked about that photo, and in general, we've talked about the many different photos of children that Jeffrey had framed throughout his many properties. Obviously, we don't know who these children are, but it's very likely that these many photos of different children that Jeffrey has in his home are children of his friends / co-conspirators, like the Dubins, for example. But anyways, the masks. So obviously, I do not know who these people are. If we look at them long enough, they could probably be just about anybody. I'm sure someone with more insight of what the story behind these masks are will give us more insight in the near future, because this is just super weird. Some of the folks in the Jeffrey forums were chit-chatting about how they believe that maybe these masks are all different old Hollywood characters, because this one specifically has certain resemblances to Charlie Chaplin. The brows, the mustache, the just off-center middle part. Obviously, I do not know who these masks are, but let's say the theory is correct that these are old Hollywood stars and this is Charlie Chaplin. Let's just speak theoretically. Jeffrey, being a fan of Charlie Chaplin, would not surprise me in the slightest. Charlie Chaplin literally married a 17-year-old girl when he was 29 years old, divorced her, and then he married a 16-year-old girl when he was 35 years old. And this 16-year-old girl, he met her when she was 12 and got her pregnant when she was 15 and married her at 16. Charlie Chaplin was a proud and unashamed predator who went down as one of the greatest actors of his time, despite his deplorable actions. Another thing worth mentioning, last month I was in the ID Models archives, the internet archives for ID Models, and I was going through the different models who were signed to ID. We remember ID Models was owned by Paolo Zampoli, enemy of the channel. But two of Charlie Chaplin's grandchildren actually modeled for Paolo Zampoli at ID Models. Spencer Chaplin is a grandson of Charlie Chaplin. Seems like he's a musician in present day. And Kiera Chaplin is a granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin, who also modeled for Paolo. And not just modeled for Paolo, she was very in the inner circle of Paolo's. She hung around a lot of the models whom Paolo would procure for Jeffrey and his other friends. I mean, here's David Copperfield in this photo with Kiera, Paolo, and then another woman, I'm blanking on her name. She's been pictured with Paolo multiple times. And here's a more recent photo of Paolo Zampoli and Kiera Chaplin with Amanda Ungaro. And as you can see, they have maintained a very close friendship for a very long time now. Also notable, Charlie Chaplin used to be a frequent flyer of Harry's Bar in Venice, which was founded back in the 1930s by Giuseppe Cipriani Sr. the grandfather of Giuseppe Cipriani Jr., whom we have talked about extensively. Like, Harry's Bar was the OG Cipriani's. The family empire started with Harry's Bar, and the Cipriani brand would be born from that. And Harry's Bar had a lot of regulars, like we just said. Charlie Chaplin was one of them. The Rothschild family were frequent flyers, as well as Ernest Hemingway and Woody Allen, just to name a few people. And as we know, Paolo Zampoli is on the board of Cipriani's and has been for about 30 years now, and has a very close friendship with Giuseppe that has spanned over decades. And as we know, Giuseppe Cipriani Jr. is in Jeffrey's Black Book. And it just seems like everything happened at one of these locations. Jeffrey's network loves this restaurant and hotel chain. The place just has a seriously dark reputation. But again, I don't even know if that is the mask of Charlie Chaplin, but whether it is or not, I guess now you have some new information about Charlie Chaplin and just weird connections to this network. And to wrap things up, let's talk about the long-argued lore about the dental chair. So Jeffrey's estate has maintained for years, since the first photos of this dental setup leaked to the press years ago. They have said for years that this dental chair was originally purchased and installed for Karina Shuliak, who was the last girlfriend of Jeffrey's before he passed away. We've talked about her extensively. She was Jeffrey's last phone call from prison. But during her relationship with Jeffrey, Karina was in dental school and trained to become a dentist. And Jeffrey was paying her way through her schooling. According to Jeffrey's estate, the chair gave Karina a place to practice, and she would basically become the in-house dentist. And of course, that's coming from Jeffrey's estate, so of course we have to take it with a grain of salt and understand that every truth told by Jeffrey's estate always comes with a lie by omission. And then I just wanted to mention this photograph. Is it just me, or does the male's hand seem very large in comparison to the clearly female hand? I don't like this photo. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, but still does not beat the godforsaken painting that Jeffrey had in his island home that depicted a walrus R-wording a little girl. So yeah, that's what I have to say so far about the photos that were released by the Oversight Committee, little Charlie Chaplin lore, whether it's going to be relevant or not. And now you know the lore behind the dental chair, the alleged lore behind the dental chair. We obviously don't know what happened in that dental chair. So that's all I have for you guys right now, but I have a lot of other things I want to talk about today, so I will be back shortly.